look, this is becoming a very serious threat to the entire Canadian economy. This is a commodities-producing country, and we ship those commodities by rail. To have CN indicating it's going to shut down its entire Eastern Canadian network and potentially lay off thousands of blue-collar workers is devastating. It means that those commodities will back up. It means the people that produce them, their jobs are at risk now too. It means that our farmers here in the West are going to have a harder time getting their products to market. And guess what? You know, our farmers, they don't have defined benefit pensions. They don't have job security. They don't get paid unless that grain gets shipped, loaded onto the trains. Trains that are now being shut down. Why? Because some angry fringe groups are ignoring the democratically expressed wishes of every First Nation in northern British Columbia. 20 elected tribal councils not only support, but have signed benefit agreements on the Coastal GasLink project, and 8 of the 12 hereditary chiefs of the Wet'suwet'en people supported. Most of those elected councils consulted through plebiscites with their band members and saw generally 80% support for this project. And $1 billion has been set aside by Coastal GasLink in commitments to hire Indigenous workers and contract with Indigenous firms. Right now, today, there are at least 400 Wet'suwet'en and other northern BC First Nations people waiting to get to work on that project, and hundreds more who will be hired once it finally starts moving at full speed in the summer. And so whether it is Indigenous people having in many cases, their first crack at a good job that will lead to training and experience for a lifetime of work, or whether it's farmers in Western Canada, or manufacturing businesses in Eastern Canada, or blue-collar CN workers, all of their or commuters in Vancouver and Toronto, all of their livelihoods are being disrupted by an angry fringe. And so I think Canadians are losing patience with this. I know Indigenous people are. And I plead with you in the media to stop misreporting these protests as being supportive of the Wet'suwet'en people who have voted in favor of this project. It is a kind of reverse colonialism to project the political views of people living in southern urban Canada on a First Nation that wants to move its people from poverty to prosperity. And let me also say, this is not about the environment, because Coastal GasLink, you know, I see these interviews with protesters trying to shut down democracy in front of the British Columbia legislature, assaulting reporters and elected MLAs, saying that they're trying to stop the oil sands. This has nothing to do with the oil sands. It frankly has nothing to do directly with Alberta. This is about bringing low-emitting British Columbia natural gas to the West Coast, supported by all of the First Nations, supported by the New Democrats, and liquefied natural gas, by the way, has been endorsed by every elected provincial and territorial government in Canada, supported by the Government of Canada, approved through an exhaustive regulatory process, confirmed by the courts who have shown great concern for Indigenous rights. This is about, you know, whether we have, and then they go and interview these people and they say they're trying to stop the oil sands. This is about liquefied natural gas that will reduce global greenhouse gas emissions. So what we're doing is allowing a few dozen, at most a few hundred people, to try to shut down the Canadian economy, to block people with emergency medical appointments from getting across the Lionsgate Bridge, from blocking low-income workers and middle-class people from getting home to their families on the commuter lines in Vancouver. This is outrageous. It has to stop.